Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Golden Sun Dark Dawn. In the last episode, we made our ascent towards Apollo Sanctum. We went through the Endless Wall, the Apollo Ascent, and as well as the Apollo Sanctum Gate. Now we have arrived here to the final dungeon of the game, the Apollo Sanctum. And by the way, this is by far my favorite place in the entire game. I love the music. I'll let you guys listen to it a little bit. I love this dungeon so much. This is the final dungeon in the main game, and there's really nothing too much to it. There's more talking than there is stuff to do. But anyways, we are here to activate the Apollo winds and put a stop to the eclipse that's happening. But anyways, as soon as you further go on outwards, you'll be greeted with rays of light. It says, the light is here so strong, you'll need protection to survive it. If by any chance you come here with just the 3 orbs, and you haven't picked up the Umber gear, this would be the turning point. They said you can't go any further, you have to get the Umber gear. So be sure to get both the Umber gear and the orbs in order to gain access to this place. It says, Himi's prophecy. We must clothe ourselves in shadow, or rather, in the Umber gear. Ah, of course, that's why the Umber gear is important. There's too much strong light here. And you need the Umber cloak to kind of shroud yourself. Time for Savetta to step into the limelight, or so to speak. This will all depend on you. Kind of a big weight to carry, Savetta. What am I to do? Well, the equipment is tailored for a Morgul beastman to wear. Sounds like Savetta's the girl for the job, alright, but why is the gear just for beastmen? Why? Because it's knuckle boot gear, that's why. That's not really the reason. The Apollo lens was a product of cooperation between the ancient Genii and the Morgul beastmen. And the beastmen did the physical labor, so they were wearing the equipment. That makes sense. So why is it called the Umber gear? Because if we are to survive the light, we must wrap ourselves in the Umbra, another word for shadow. Yeah, that's what Umber means. Very good, Amity. And so that is where I must step in. Alright, here I go. Do we really know that the Umber gear alone will be enough to protect her? There's no way for knowing for sure. I have faith in our leader. Matthew, will you guide me? Ah, Matthew, of course. You don't think Matthew can do it, do you, Creighton? Don't be absurd. Of course I do. Matthew, you've led us well to this point. Now guide Savetta through this last obstacle. We're gonna get a tutorial on how to use the mechanics of this Umber gear here in a little bit. Once we come out of there, I'll be in danger. Don't let me down, please. Alright, so as soon as you go forward, we're gonna get a tutorial on how to use the Umber gear here. Here's the tutorial. It says, while in brighter spots, pay close attention to the Umber gear's endurance gauge. Alright, Umber gear got updated, so let's go ahead and look at it. Umber gear. These 5 items were left by the Genii for the descendants in the event of another grave eclipse. When worn, the equipment shields the wearer from the power of light, though only beastmen are able to use it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. At this point, we're just going to be getting updates to terms we've already gotten, so... Anyways, it says, why through brighter spots pay close attention to the Umber gear's endurance gauge. Which is this right here. The endurance gauge slowly increases while you're in bright spots. So if you're like straight on in the light, it'll go up. If the Umber gear gets too high, or if the gauge gets too high, the Umber gear will fail. and you will be swallowed up by the light. And pretty much what that means is you have to start over. That's pretty much what that means. When the gauge is high, hide in shadow by a pillar, then let the gauge lower. So that's how you're going to lower the gauge in a way. When you're in a bright spot, keep an eye on the level of Umber Gauge's endurance gauge. So this is only for this dungeon here. So when you move around in the light, this gauge is going to increase. And don't worry about if Matthew gets too far out of the shadow. That doesn't affect anything. The only way you're going to get the Umber Gauge to go down is if you're hiding in shadow like this. So that's pretty much it. Now there's only a couple of spots here, so you don't have to worry about it too much. I've never had the gauge go up and be a problem. So anyways, as soon as you investigate this stone here, it says, this large table seems to invite you to places something in it. Well, if memory serves correctly, it's blue. So let's go ahead and put the blue orb in there. And this is what we need the jewels for. This is what we needed it for the longest time. If we go down and around, there's a red table right here. Let's go ahead and put down the red orb. Now, if you come down here, you'll notice that there's a sword right here. You try to lift it up, but the sword won't budge. We have to do something else for the sword. But we'll get that here in a second. We just have to power up the machine. Okay, I'm going to hide in shadow for just a second. There we go. If we come all the way down here, there's going to be one last spot to put the yellow gem. So let's go ahead and put it in there. There we go. Once we have all three orbs placed, it'll give power to that sword I mentioned earlier. This is the key. Quite literally. You'll understand why here in a second. As soon as we come down here, we can actually go and grab this sword. We actually pulled it. Matthew and party got the Soul Blade. The Soul Blade is the strongest weapon in the game. Well, strongest normal weapon in the game, I should say. As soon as you pull the sword out of its pedestal, the machine will activate. And the Apollo lens will actually come out of the machine, underneath the technology here, and then it won't activate, but it'll reveal itself on that. There's more things that we have to do in order to activate the machine, and that is a clue right there. You've probably seen that door before. We've seen those doors before. If we look at what the Soul Blade is. The Soul Blade is the strongest weapon in the entire game. Strongest normal weapon, I should say. There's cursed weapons that are a little bit stronger than this. But it's the strongest weapon in the game, and only Matthew can wield it. So let's go ahead and give him the Soul Blade here. The Gaia Blade, unfortunately... oh, I hate that I can't use this Gaia Blade, but... Okay, can I actually have him hold it? What can I get rid of? No, that's fine. I'll keep a hold of it. But the Soul Blade is the strongest weapon in the game. And if you also look at the description here, it says, key to many locks. This sword acts not only as a really strong item, but it's a key item as well. You use this to unlock doors. Kind of like a keyblade. Anyways, what you do is you have to use these on certain doors that have a sun crest on them. We've seen doors plenty of times like this before. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is usually whenever I stop doing the dungeon, but I'm gonna keep doing it until we get to a certain point. But anyways, you want to come down here and investigate this door here. It says the symbol of the sun inscribed on the door. And there's a large opening, it looks like a keyhole. Would you like to insert something? Yeah, let's go ahead and insert the soul blade. And this will unlock this door. Now we have access to the machine. So now we can go in here. The soul blade is a really cool weapon, by the way. It's my favorite weapon in the game, and honestly, it's the blade that kind of defines what golden... Like, you know how the Master Sword is like the iconic blade of Legend of Zelda? The soul blade is like that for Golden Sun, so... Anyways, for this part, we're going to have to cast Crush on these stakes here. Because we're going to be throwing this machine into power. And the only way we're going to get it to power up is by crushing down these stakes here. Alright, so now we have to come up here and we're going to do it again. Alright, that one's done. I think there's only like 2 more spots here that we need to do this to. Boom! Yeah, I think there's only last one right here. Alright. Now that we've activated the machine, there's one more thing we have to do. We have to pretty much throw the switch in a way. We have to come up here and we're going to have to cast Grip on these spots right here in order to turn the dial so that way we can switch the machines on. And then every time you do this, a cutscene will activate where it powers up the part of the machine that I just did. Giant solar ray. And giving power to the machine using light as the power source. Now I have to do the same thing with the blue side here. Let's go ahead and cast Grip. And switch it on. The giant Apollo statue is just like, well, I got my work cut out for me. I gotta turn the machine on. And he has a giant levitating hand too. He's casting Grip to move it. You wouldn't think a statue would do that. Alright, we got one more switch to Grip and switch on. So let's go ahead and cast Grip on this red part of the machine here. And with that, that should power up the machine just quite nicely. And now he's moving the Apollo lens into aim here. Now that we've thrown all 3 switches in, now the machine will activate. In a way, get ready to fire. This giant statue's going Transformer all. He's just turning into a Transformer. What it does is it actually is powering the sun's ray, or not the sun's ray, but the light rays are reflecting off the solar panels are giving power to the machine. And with that, we have powered up the Apollo lens. All that we need to do is we need to go and throw the switch on, and we can end the eclipse. But once you walk outside, there's going to be a cutscene in place. Ah, good. Have you finished with the preparations? It's Arcanus. How? You, what's going on here? Arcanus, here? What kind of name is Arcanus? This one has great power. Tyrell, son of Garrett, you are displeased to see me. I'm only displeased to see you still breathing. Ah, the impulsiveness, the overconfidence. You really are your father's son. You know my dad? Obviously. Who are you? Why do you know so much about us? Hello, Alex. Kraden knew all along who this guy was. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of fans did too. This is kind of the big reveal, like the big twist is like, oh, well, this is Alex. You know, the main, I guess he would be considered the main villain of the first two games. And, well, based on everything, the description, the way he looks, his mannerisms, all the fans knew who this guy was. He wasn't hiding anything from anybody. But anybody who's played this new doesn't know who this guy is. Alex, the Mercury Clan's traitor, my mother's betrayer. That Alex? What makes you think I am this Alex? Oh, come on, dude. We traveled together for some time, Alex. I hadn't forgotten. You flatter me, Kraden. And I'll flatten you. I should have realized sooner, but your chosen name, Arcanus, had me distracted for a while. Oh, really? Why is that? Well, in my travels, I heard of a deck of cards used for telling fortunes. The tarot cards, that's what I was talking about earlier when we were in the Luna Tower. I mentioned this earlier about why he chose the name Arcanus. It's based off of tarot cards, or fortune-telling cards. Go on. Two of the suits of the deck are swords and cups, very similar to our Blados and Chalice. And how would that relate to my assumed name? Arcanus sounds like a term for the most important cards in the deck. It seemed more than a coincidence. It figures you'd name yourself after the most important part. That's quite a theory, Kraden. I'd love to hear more, but I'm pressed for time. What is so pressing? The Tuparong. Seems like they're invading the Apollo Sanctum. Just right on time, too. We were about ready to flip the switch, it seemed like. What do you mean? What is that? I've got a bad feeling about this. Oh, look out, everyone. Who? It's them, alright. The Tuparong soldiers. You're talking to them, Arcanus? Why aren't you just killing them? That's actually not his name. Alex, was it? You were eavesdropping. How rude. You traveled with the old man. Does that make you one of the Warriors of Vale? No! Alex is not one of the Warriors of Vale. He's a power-mongering schemer. He'll probably betray you lot as well. I don't think he's ever honored a vow or promise. That's true. He's pretty much betrayed everybody that he's ever been with. You can't really be Alex. Alex tried to use the Golden Sun to become immortal, but he failed and was killed. Yeah, if you guys remember at the very end of Golden Sun Golden Sun the Lost Age, he tried to gain the power of the Golden Sun, but was ultimately swallowed up by the mountain itself, by Mount Aleph. He was swallowed into the earth, but I guess he survived, didn't he? Alex, Arcanus, who cares? I never liked you and your superior tone. Keep your temper in check, Blados. The High Emperor would not want us fighting amongst ourselves. Humph. Your expression suggests that that imperial loyalty is not the first of your priorities. Funny, Alex, your expression says the same thing. Perhaps, then, it is finally time for us to untangle our remaining webs of deception. What are you saying? We have our orders, Arcanus. We will not deviate from them. Our orders are that Matthew should activate the Apollo lens. The methods are ours to choose. Alright, so Apollo lens got updated, so let's go ahead and look at that. This ancient machine amplifies light. It concentrates and magnifies light into a beam of astounding intensity. Concerned that the power might fall into the wrong hands, the ancient Jedi sealed it away in Apollo Sanctum. Okay, so that's what the Apollo lens is. I have determined that the truth is now our best weapon. Matthew, you should know that the Tuparong are scions of the Umber clan, also called Dark Adepts. Dark Adepts? What is he talking about? From the Umber clan? Yet he seems to be telling the truth. Impossible. Another clan? Well, I never heard of them. The High Emperor sent me to make sure the Apollo lens was used according to his plan. So, the High Emperor doubts our loyalty? Or you're setting us up? Naturally, we can't really trust each other. But I need to ask one question. Are those men who came down from the airship really Tuparong soldiers? They seem to have strange powers, unlike normal psi energy, just like you two. You are here for the Apollo lens, correct? What will you do with it? What a good question, Chalice. What will we use it for? Oh, we can't spoil that surprise, can we? Based on the trajectory, your target is Tuparong, or perhaps the area around Sol Sanctum. Since you have not contradicted my deductions, may we now consider dark psi energy an open secret? Or are you still intent to keep it secret by eliminating me? I knew you'd figure it out eventually. You were always so very clever, Arcanus. I can handle these two. Go through the switch of the Apollo lens. Alex. So he did survive the Golden Sun. So it would appear. And apparently there exist Dark Adepts in this world. Would Dark Adepts have the power of this horrible eclipse and its monsters? Don't know. And there's an Umber clan now? I've been all over the world and I've never heard a whisper about them. We don't have time to discuss it now. We must activate the Apollo lens while Alex buys time. And thus, at this point, this is the point where you go straight to the final boss fight in the game. There's nothing else besides going straight to the end game. That's pretty much it. Before we do that, though, I want to go back and I want to go explore some optional dungeons. I know this seems like kind of silly. You know, it's just like the fate of the world can hold on just a minute. I've got optional dungeons to take care of. Most people do these optional dungeons after they beat the game, because after the game, it takes you back to Tonfon. But when you get the Soul Blade, you automatically unlock the access to these dungeons. They are not locked by you beating the game, except for one. There's one that's locked behind beating the game first, but all the other ones you can go and access right now. So, as of right now, I'm actually going to be leaving Apollo Sanctum to go back and do these dungeons. I know this seems really silly, and I should just probably finish the game first, but this is how I played, and I've always wanted to help people out, kind of playing it the way I do. So, what I'm actually going to do is, I'm leaving Apollo Sanctum right now, and I'm going to make my way back to Ton Fun. When we come back to Golden Sun Dark Dawn, we are going to be taking on our first of the optional dungeons. There are 3 that we can do right now, and we're going to be doing our first one. So next time we meet, we're going to do just that. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care, everybody. I'm so sorry, I wanted to show this off before we end the episode. I completely forgot. At this point, I completely forgot to mention this. Whenever you view this cutscene, that cutscene when we leave the Apollo Sanctum innards and we activated the machine, you guys remember the two-pronged soldiers that came up here? Well, if you walk around in this area, right before you get to the final boss area, two-pronged soldiers actually show up. There's going to be enemy encounters here that actually, you can fight. The thing is with these guys, and this is very important. This is very important if you're needing to grind. These guys are the best grinding spot in the entire game, and it's mostly because these guys give a massive amount of experience points. Like, it's crazy amount how much they give you. And not only that, they always drop a Water of Life, so you can grind for Water of Lives here too. I forgot to mention this. This is like very important if you're needing to go and grind for any reason, because I'm going to tell you right now, at this point in the game, there's going to be a massive difficulty spike, and you might need to level up a lot, so you might want to go ahead and kill these guys, and I'll show you guys here in a second as soon as we kill them. If you have 3 of them, you're gonna pretty much guarantee to level up every battle. Super cool. Okay, we killed one. Searing Beam! There we go. Now, look at this experience points. 41,160 experience points. That's boss level experience points that you're giving you. Like I said, you're guaranteed to level up by this. Sabetta grew to level 40, okay, great. Eolio grew to level 41. Hemi grew to level 42. Matthew grew to level 42, learned Stone Spire. And that's pretty much it. And like I said, you're guaranteed almost a water life every battle that you do this. So if you're needing to grind for whatever reason, this is your best spot. So I just wanted to make that clear because I cut off the video before I even showed that off. I really wanted to show that off because this is by far the best spot to grind. And you're getting a Water of Life, so if you, for whatever, someone dies, you can revive them with it. So, anyways, next time we meet in Golden Sun Dark Dawn, we're going back to Ton Fun, because we're going to be starting our trek through the optional dungeons in the game now that we have the Soul Blade. The Soul Blade will give us access to pretty much all the dungeons. I think 2 of the 3. Yeah, 2 of the 3 dungeons require the Soul Blade. The other one you can do whenever, but you might as well do them whenever you're doing all the rest of them. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next episode.